Okay. It sounds like we are ready for our call-in.
Oh.
Holy moly, look at all these. Look at all these beautiful boys.
Good morning, all of you.
Hold on just a sec. Can't hear you guys quite yet.
Oh, no.
Okay, now we can hear you.
Magic
How's it
word.
going?
Wow, how are you guys doing this morning?
Doing real good.
I'm excited. So, I guess first question I'm curious about: do you guys have any idea what this is and what we're doing?
You're driving an imaginary bus. You're playing a very bad game, and that part's always been
So there was an
confusing.
unreleased Sega CD game called Penn and Teller Smoke and Mirrors, and on it, I can walk you guys through the whole history if you want.
I would really I would appreciate it because I have no idea what we're doing.
I want to hear this.
Are you kidding? No, I'm a Desert Bus fan.
Awesome.
I had Tucson or Bus stuck in my head for like 3 months straight once. You guys remember that? That great.
Awesome. Well, for anybody,
Jesus Christ! You guys not know your own fucking history? We're not supposed to curse.
No swearing.
oh, there he is.
That's pretty good.
We'll mail you a shame ticket.
All right.
Son of a-
For anybody in chat who doesn't know who you fine gentlemen are, could you introduce yourselves? Tell the people what you do, who you are.
Without weaving a tapestry of profanity that is going to be a blight on this kind.
We literally just finished recording an episode, so like my brain is there in the naughty zone. It's really hard. I need to move it into the naughty zone, which is the name of our grandmother. 'Cause that's how we will talk around her.
So we do a bunch of podcasts. Probably the two most notable ones are My Brother and Me and The Adventure Zone. And we are actual brothers, if you can believe it. I am the middleest brother, Travis McElroy.
I'm Griffin McElroy. I'm the youngest brother.
Yeah, I'm the oldest one, Justin. And I had a Cliff Bar that had chia seeds in it right before I
So
started.
that's why
and that was
you're
like-
feeling so feisty. That's why you're so scrappy right now.
No, I got them all stuck in my teeth, and I'm feeling very dumb about that food choice.
When I close my eyes, I can see the resemblance.
Do you?
Thank you.
How's the game going?
The game is going quite well.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of crashes.
Except not on my shift.
and a couple. Oh yeah, that's true. We haven't had a crash for at least 8 hours, I guess, 10 hours. So
I've
that's
been driving since 10 p.m.
That's something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not that many points, but a whole heck of a lot of money raised. So that's kind of what we're here to do. So we're not going to complain about that.
Excellent.
I don't think we've ever done this whole 3-person call at a time. I understand that you're all in different time zones too. Is that true?
Travis and Justin are back in the same time zone.
All
I'm
right.
the only Central Time holdout.
all right.
But we are in 3 different states.
3 different states.
Yeah,
that's
that
impressive.
counts, yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty impressive. So we have just a slew of questions for you guys.
Okay.
Enough that we could be here for hours, but we'll probably cut that down to at least 2 or 3 hours for you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Good.
cool.
Yeah, I thought you guys. I assumed you cleared your schedule, so we're good to go. We'll just start it off with an Adventure Zone question. Who is your favorite Adventure Zone NPC? Parliament would like to know the answer to that, by the way.
Yeah, so Adventure Zone is a D&D podcast that we do that I run, and Justin and Travis and our dad play the game. My favorite is just a boy detective named Angus MacDonald, who is basically like the Detective Conan boy, and he's a good boy, and he's my favorite, I think.
Well, since Griffin took mine, I'm going to say maybe I really liked Jenkins from Murder on the Rockport Limited. That was very fun. I think that was, along with Magic Brian, like it was maybe one of the most fun the 3 of us have ever had interacting with one of Griffin's characters. So I enjoyed that quite a bit.
Since Griffin took mine also, I should probably have a spin-off for him or something.
Yeah.
I guess my favorite is probably Sloane and Hurley, who were I don't know how to describe their characters without giving
Spoiling
things
it?
away. Yeah, but like they're if you listen to the show, You know what? If you listen to the show, you know who they are. If you don't listen to the show, this is like meaningless, just like syllables strung together. Man, because there's nothing more enjoyable than hearing other people describe their D&D
Talk about
campaigns.
their D&D game. Yeah.
Well, that's good because I do have a follow-up question about D&D tabletop campaigns, which is
Great.
Do you guys actually play tabletop outside of Adventure Zone?
No, this was This was really most of our first experience. Like I'd played D&D a little bit before, and this was sort of my first experience, like actually playing a campaign and not just like getting together with a group 3 times before the thing just fell apart.
Yeah,
but I have a bunch of other games I really want to play, but I haven't dipped in yet.
I don't really do a lot of campaigning games, but I have before Adventure Zone and now especially because of Adventure Zone been over the last like 6 or 7 years really getting into table gaming. So I play games with friends whenever I can. A lot less now that I have a 3-week-old baby. I can't imagine I'm going to be finding a lot of time to get some friends together, play some Betrayal, but do what I can.
Yeah, I don't get a ton of opportunity to play, but I do enjoy. Actually, for my birthday last weekend, I had people come over and play Dead of Winter, which I really like.
Oh, how was that?
It was really good. You know, it's like a slightly more. It's like sort of like Last Night on Earth. I like stuff that's like sort of story focused, sort of like Last Night on Earth, but there's more of like a betrayal aspect to it, where everybody's working together except for one person who it most certainly is not, and ferreting that person out is a big part of the game. But I really dig that. Like I said, I like Last Night on Earth. Any of those sort of like story based adventure games.
We played some Betrayal at House on the Hill last time I was in town.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a really fun one.
That's a great
Yeah,
game.
I want you all to
like
know,
that.
if you see me keep looking over to the right, it's not because I am distracted. It's because there's a baby sitting right there, and I am not past the point where I feel the need to keep checking to make sure she's cool, like all the time. So it's really hard not to keep going. Are you okay? Okay, cool. She's fine.
She just stuck her little thumbs up. Yeah, man.
Well,
Keep going with your thing, baby.
yeah.
You're doing
Congratulations,
great.
by the way.
You're doing great, Papa. Slaying them.
So I have probably about 60 plus questions here. I think over half of them are asking what it's like being internet buddies with Lin-Manuel.
Oh,
We're real life
that
buddies
was the
with
thing.
Lin-Manuel. Boom.
Yeah.
No, it's good. He's a very good boy. It's a weird, like, I think he's a super genius. And it's weird that somebody that I hold in such high regard like that also trolls us relentlessly with messages from people we idolize, like The Rock and RuPaul, and oh man, and Carly Rae
3000.
Jepsen, and he's a good boy.
Patricia Heaton. I mean, you can't.
Patricia Heaton, you just can't
Heat.
do better than Patricia Heaton.
It's interesting because I know, like, it's weird to, like, simultaneously have, like, Lynn, our friend, who, like, Griffin and Justin went to Guy Fieri's restaurant with, and, like,
That was a secret meeting of the minds, Travis. It's just,
But then
I can't believe
also,
you would
like,
tell people about
there
that.
he is winning a bunch of Tonys and
Yeah.
on The View.
yeah, I watched you eat a trash burger. Put that Tony back. I watched you eat garbage can nachos. You can't have that. You can't have an EGOT. I watched you eat some real toilet food.
It helped that we were buddies with him before things sort of blew up with Hamilton. It was very surreal, actually, like, because I love Lynn. The first time he told me, he's like, I'm working on a musical about the Federalist Papers. I'm like, well, good. What's your other gig? You got like some other stuff in the hopper? You doing some jingles maybe, or anything? You got anything else lined up? But when that really took off, and the crazy thing about it is, I assume it was bittersweet for me when that show blew up, because I assumed, like, well, he's done with us now. we had some laughs, but even when my dude had to, like, press through throngs of people and, like, secretly out the back door and go through this, but and, like, he'll still make time whenever we're in New York to, like, hang out and stuff like that. Like he couldn't come to our we did a show in New York and he couldn't come, and he felt so bad about it. He came before the show. He couldn't come, by the way, because he had to do his freaking musical. He came before the show, and he had made us on the episode previous, we'd been talking about chicken soup for the soul. He made us like a custom chicken soup for the soul game, like handmade. He could have been working on like, I mean, like, let's say anything else.
Yeah, anything.
Like literally anything else. Let's say he handmade this game and brought it to us, and he's really the absolute sweetest guy in the world. He's just a real sweetheart.
That's awesome.
You guys want to see this baby?
Yeah, people really want to see this baby.
Today.
Aww.
She seems like she might be asleep, Trav.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Pretty much all the time. It's all she does. She's sleeping now.
Okay. Well, let's not do any
What?
stunts.
Yeah, we don't need to get like Gallagher in here. Like, let's just put the baby down, all right? Yeah,
It's very good.
it's so good. It's a good baby.
Now she's going back to bed.
That was good, baby.
She'll just sleep through it. I'm a very lucky dad.
When you guys first joined us, you talked about how you did how you record 2 podcasts. Somebody's asking here, when you don't have your own, so when you're starting a first podcast, when you don't have your own flow and style yet, do you think it's better to model it on a podcast you enjoy and risk being called a copycat, or just start from zero and risk being called disorganized or boring?
This is a good question because,
question.
I think, I mean, it's a hard thing to sort of diagnose because when we started out, I mean, the 3 of us have had a rapport for our whole lives. Like that wasn't inauthentic, but I think there were definitely like I listened to "You Look Nice Today," which is like a classic podcast, and "Oh Yeah, Dude." I'm actually wearing an "Oh Yeah, Dude" shirt right now. And I loved those 2 podcasts, and like listening back to those old episodes, like I was lifting sort of I guess my style, I guess, a little bit from those shows. Like it was hard not to sort of separate them because it's like in my mind that's what a podcast was. I think we've gotten better about that. So I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong as long as you're not like plagiarizing or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I'm curious what the boys think.
I think that trying to put the pressure on yourself of creating a brand new, never before heard of podcast format is way too much pressure. I think that no matter what you do, you're going to end up homaging stuff accidentally anyways. So you might as well just say like, well, what kind of show do I want to do? Like, and then work from there. But I think that it simultaneously setting out to try to exactly duplicate a show that you like is also going to drive you crazy and end up heading nowhere. So I think like pattern your show after the kinds of shows you like, but then figure out where it deviates because of who you and whoever you're doing the show with.
That's a really important distinction. Like I don't think my brother and me would have been successful if we were doing just like 3 dudes talking about stuff. Because there's so many of those podcasts, and I'm not saying that that's necessarily a faulty format or whatever, but there's like if we did just like so what's going on, guys? And that was the whole format for the show. We didn't have like this advice structure. Like it wouldn't be good because the competition in that field is crazy because that's like half of podcasts.
The advice field also has gotten progressively harder to dig your niche out, but luckily we got there first. I mean, I would say two very important things. One, you have to have I'm going to get crassly marketing-y here for a second, but you need a unique selling point. Like you need to be able to visualize when it's in the iTunes store and you got like a sentence, like what it is that would make anybody listen to it that does not know you. That's something I wish we had with my brother and me. If we had invented something that would make people want to listen to it. By the way, if anybody can figure out a way to get people to listen to it, I don't know how people keep doing it, but it's happening.
Trying to explain, we give advice, but it's not good advice. But it's not like bad advice in like bad. It's comedy. It's so hard.
We used to describe it as a comedy advice show until we had a stand-up comedian that opened for us, and when they who hadn't listened to our show, and they said, so you guys just like give advice to comedians and help them? It's like, no, it's not comedy advice, it's comedy advice. Never mind. So I think shows we made after that have been a lot more targeted, like to a specific sort of thing. The other thing that I would say, and nobody ever listens to me when I say this because it's really hard, but if you could do it, like, don't tell anybody that you have a podcast until you've made like 5 episodes. Because if you have one episode and it's your first time recording it and you put it out there, it's not going to be good. Like, because you need to figure out these rhythms. We're really lucky, and like Griffin said, we've been brothers for a long time, so like we had our rhythms pretty well set by the first episode. But like, if it's your first time recording, don't put it out. Give yourself some time to like figure out what the show is and then ask people to listen to it. Like, because you don't want people to listen to your your first attempt at something, or even your second or third or fourth.
With most of my shows, other than My Brother, Me, and Adventure Zone, we recorded a bunch of test episodes and then like sent them to like maybe 10 people that we like trusted their opinion on, and then never published them, and no one ever heard them, because like assuming that you're going to nail it right out the gate is pretty bold. So like, give yourself the wiggle room to like test, and then if you do the first episode and you're like, oh, we nailed it, this is great, publish it. But don't force yourself to publish something you're not completely proud of, because like there's no deadline. You're not going to miss the window if it takes you another 2 weeks to put it up. So
yeah.
Awesome. So speaking of advice, somebody, Pookie here, was wondering, I know there's a mouse on the loose in my house because the cats have been chasing it, and I've got guests coming over later. What's the proper etiquette if I get a worst case scenario and one of the cats offers a rodent-based side dish with dinner?
So wait, the question is, what do you do if your cat catches and kills a mouse and presents it to a house guest? I think that's you brag about that cat.
I think we might be able to take like a hard pass on this because we're not good at giving human beings advice. I don't know why this person thought that we could tell cats what's up. Like, you apologize. You apologize
and clean it up. I mean, what are they expecting from your cat? Like, cat-like behavior is very normal for cats, I've found, basically. Like, just let it be. Here's what you say. Here's a funny line you can try out. That's a wild animal, and I don't control it. Yeah. It's not an anamorph. It's my actual cat, and it kills Mike.
Yeah, I can't be like, hey, Marcus, cut it out. And
that's like Marcus. He stayed in cat form for too long.
I know, it's almost been like 90 minutes. You got to come back, or else you'll be a cat forever.
Meet this creature. It poops in the sand. Like, what do you want from me?
Perfect. Back to a serious question here. Has fatherhood that was very serious, but has fatherhood / impending fatherhood changed how you are as brothers and content creators?
It's made it a lot harder to schedule recordings, I'll tell you that much.
Yep.
These babies are real inconvenience.
Are all 3 of you guys dads?
I'm about to be. Justin and Travis are. My wife and I are expecting a baby in about 2 weeks.
Awesome!
So
Congratulations.
Justin's been a dad for about 2 years.
Thank
I've
you.
been a dad for about 3 weeks, and Griffin has like negative 2 weeks of dad experience. I think it's how that worked. Oh no! He had a kid! Like no, this. God! Oh, he was taken from us so young.
Wait,
fix the focus.
Get the focus. Yep. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, there we go.
Oh no!
how does this work? Is it the angle monitor?
You're taking us on some
tell
wild
we're audio
rides
producers of content, not video. Okay, I think that's gonna stay. Is that good? Yeah.
This is like that Unfriended, the Facebook horror movie.
Yeah. It's weird because it has forced us to. I'm sorry if this happens again, by the way. I feel like a third time would be the funniest one, but I'd rather it didn't, because I want to move on with my life. I feel like it's caused us to be a lot more fluid. Like, we have to have sort of windows. Like, just for example, this morning, we were supposed to start recording at 9, and Travis texted us like 15 minutes before and said, "Hey, this feeding is going to go till later than that." And it's, no, stop it. Like, come talk about farts with me. Like, you can't do that. So I think it's led to a lot more fluidity, certainly.
Yeah, we used to be like, sorry guys, I can't record today. I'm not in the right headspace. I need to lather myself up in, chamomile oils until like I'm pampered enough to be in a good comedy headspace. And now it's like both babies are asleep. We have 45 minutes. We have 9 minutes. Let's record 9 minutes of an episode, and then we'll tape it on to like. We've had to be a bit more guerrilla.
We've been doing this show for almost 7 years. Like this will be in April, I think, 7 years.
Yeah.
And so our lives have, like, since that time, like Griffin and I have both like gotten, like Griffin met and has now married his wife, and they are now having a baby during that time. I have married my wife, and we've had a baby in that time. Justin and Sydney had a baby at that time. So, like, our life experiences have kind of informed, I think, the way that we still don't give real advice, but there's definitely, like, we have aged. We're not characters in a show that, like, we always try to pretend are 29. We've changed and evolved as the show has gone on, and like we've added new shows to our lineup that include like our wives, and life experiences kind of change. What I'm trying to say is we do a lot more dad jokes now, and the comedy is just really going to tank from here on in.
And as
really
listeners have let us know, the show has obviously peaked and is declining in quality. And I just want to say, like, hi, welcome to like my entire life. Yeah, I wish I was in my 20s too. That was great. that was excellent. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh, you mean things aren't as fun now that I'm 36 years old? Well, that's weird. That's the only thing in my life that's like that.
All right. Busthead asks, Dear Brothers, what sort of challenges have you faced in bringing my brother and me to the small screen?
Oh man, that's a good question.
All of the challenges. I mean, like.
So wait. Let's set the stage a little bit. So we're doing this show with NBC's comedy streaming service called CISO. It'll come out February 23rd. You can get it on CISO. All the episodes, I think, will launch simultaneously. At least that's the plan, I think.
It was so hard. It was really hard coming up with like how to do it because our I don't think we come from like a traditional comedy background, right? And so when you talk about doing this TV show of the podcast, the two options that were immediately obvious were like, we just sit behind a desk and just record an episode of the podcast and then people see it, which is not good. Like TV shows have to have visual elements. And the other one is like some weird thing where we just go out and we do man on the street style goof interviews and pranks and all kinds of stuff that like we don't do. Like, no, that wouldn't be good at all. Us interacting with other people is bad. That's bad. That's comedy poison. But those were the two options that like when we thought about how to adapt the show, like that would be the way to do it. And it took us a year and a half, 2 years to
figure out what the show was going to look like.
Just figure out what it was going to look like. And once we had it figured out, it took us like, there was like 2 months of pre-production and then 3 weeks of actually making the show. Like it moved so quickly after we figured out what it was going to be, but figuring out what it was going to be was like pulling teeth.
And then it was also a whole experience because it's unscripted. There's no like parameters or guidelines for the episode. So each episode that's going to end up being about 25 minutes long, we shot about 24 hours of material for.
Yeah.
Because like we'd shoot and go like, I hope it's in there somewhere. And then like they'd edit 25 minutes out of 24 hours of material because like it was all like our showrunner and director, JD Amato, between the four of us and our story producers, it was a lot of us going, Jackie and Greg, it was a lot of all of us going, I think this is good. Yeah, this is something. This thing we've just done, that was it, I think.
Everything we said at this point makes it sound like we think it's like bad. Like, no. It's going to be very, very good.
Well, I think we touched on what I think the biggest individual challenge, if you were to highlight one, is that we had, I mean, no exaggeration, zero confidence going into this about making this. Like, we're so comfortable sitting in front of mics, talking to each other in a vacuum that, like, that's our core competency. And, like, trying to figure out how we make ourselves comfortable in other scenarios. One of the things we did was we filmed the entire show in Huntington, West Virginia, our hometown. So that lent us a great deal of comfort It also makes the show really fun because we're hanging out with people that we've known our whole lives, and it's a really cool area full of really neat people, many of whom are appear in the program. But it's a very weird show, and I don't know of the reason it took us so long is that there's not another show that's very much like it, which sounds like crazy, like dumb marketing stuff.
That's not bragging. That was
if there was
horrible
another
for us.
show that was like it, we would have done that one
so
instantly.
great.
Like, what conversation over, we would have just done that one again with different jokes in it. There's not. If there was an existing show that we could have stolen, we would have stolen it instantly.
Awesome.
But it did turn out really well. We've seen some rough cuts of it, and everybody's gonna love it. I can't stress enough. I think it wasn't until we saw like the cuts of the first episode where I went, "Oh,
okay, so
we
that's
made
what
a
it is.
show. Okay, yeah, we
show.
did it."
And one last time, when can we see it and where?
February 23rd on CISO, which is a streaming comedy service from NBC. You can find it at CISO.com, and launch February 23rd.
Sweet. A lot of people asking, so you guys started doing these shows together about 7 years ago, you said. Before that, were you as close as you are now? Like, did you have a good relationship growing up? Were you close, in your early 20s, late teens?
That's an extremely personal question.
Yeah,
I mean,
Jesus.
we're like entertainment professionals. That's an extremely personal question.
Oh, I have a better question, which makes me
Yeah,
laugh,
no.
which is,
No, I'm just kidding.
That's fine. That was not
No,
real.
we're just messing with you.
I mean,
I'm just
the reason
messing
we
with you.
started doing the podcast is so we could stay in touch. Like, this was 2009. Travis, I just graduated
Seven.
from college, and
2009.
2009.
All right. Sorry.
I just graduated college. Jesus, Justin, don't correct me like that in front of the internet.
watch the curses.
Anyway, we have a great relationship. No, so it was 2009. I just graduated college, and Travis and I moved to Cincinnati, and that was like the first time that we had been like all kind of scattered to the wind a little bit. And so that was like one of the big reasons why we started doing My Brother and Me, is so that we would be more in touch. So like, yeah, we've always had a good relationship.
There was a definite period though where I would say Justin and I fought, like, but when I say that I mean like when I was like 7 and Justin was 10. I think that there was a solid period of fighting there, but then I want to say by like 15 and 12 we had gotten it together. Like, the thing is that we weren't growing up as like inseparable, we were kids, and we grew up as brothers, and then I would say when we were all like starting to be kind of adults, we all went like, oh, we actually like each other. And I don't think I didn't realize that was weird.
Yeah.
Until we started doing the show, and we still do get emails and people like tweeting at us and saying like, man, I wish that I liked my siblings. I haven't talked to my brother in 4 years. And like that's just so abstract to me.
Yeah. And I think that it has also helped, like the fact that we're close has helped us in some ways with the show, especially as it's gotten more successful, because our relationship always comes first. It's like it's not up for debate. So if because of that, like if opportunities come up that somebody's not comfortable with, there's zero pressure to do it. I mean, because it's just like, well, I don't want to do this because it impedes time with my family or whatever, then it doesn't happen. And it's not like there's no bitterness about it because the relationship comes first. So that's kind of a useful guiding principle for us. Because we really do, I think we really look out for each other before we look out for, the show or what have you.
That's amazing. All right, guys, you have been with us for a half an hour. I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I have 2 more things left. Number one is a challenge that I've seen, and now there's a dog. You have a
Travis, it's like you're like my Facebook feed right now.
All right, so the challenge is a 3-way high five because of the way that we have you organized on the screen. So, Justin, you're going to put up your hands at the edge of both sides of the frame. You're going to high five each other. Yeah.
Wait, you got to like pulse them.
Good job. And then finally, with the last question, we are driving the desert bus, and something we've been asking all of our guests and call-ins is, if you were a bus driver, what sort of little knickknacks would you put up there on your dashboard while you were driving across the desert?
Trucker speed. Like bumblebees.
That bumblebee, that's good stuff.
Like the bumblebees or the hornet blasters or whatever those sorts of things are. There's a lot of questionable pills at truck stops, so I definitely have I would say like piles of those, just like piles, loose piles. Hard to hide from the cops, like loose piles of trucker meth.
I approve.
I would say probably just piles of deli meat,
That's good.
just like loose deli meat.
Yeah, that's good because
I'm
that's the big killer of momentum is when you have to stop for more deli meat. So if you just have loose deli meat, slam on the brakes, and one of the good salami slices is going to go right in your gob. That's going to be really good.
I was going to say nothing because I'm a good driver boy and I like to focus on the road and be safe because it's not just me out there. It's like everyone. But Justin mentioning stopping for deli meat made me rethink it. And like probably some sort of adult diaper or like a truck diapers are probably a thing, right?
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
I just heard somebody in the room go like, "Oh yeah," like they're wearing one for your virtual bus trip. I respect that. So some sort of bathroom apparatus. I don't want to get blue, but it's important to me.
All right. Thank you guys so much for calling in. We really appreciate you taking the time to do this. Let the people know where they can find you online.
We have a website.
Yeah,
we have a website just called McElroyshows.com, and it has all of our
McElroy.
Awesome.
shows.com.
Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. We love you guys.
Yeah, good luck with the rest of it. How much longer are y'all going?
We've been going for 118 hours right now. We have to go to 151 hours, assuming no more money comes in as of right this second, but I don't think that's going to be the case.
Screwed. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are hosed.
We'll probably go for about 150 hours would be my guess.
Ooh,
Well,
boy.
enjoy that.
Oh, we
Have fun.
We will.
At least I'll say your setup is a lot more comfortable than in other years I've watched. It's certainly evolved from the like somebody's living room that it seemed to be in the last time I was on a few years back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we were. That's how it went. This year we like rented space and got couches and carpet and amenities.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right. Thanks guys so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye guys.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Hooray! A successful call.
So good.
We had.
I legitimately had a period where I'm like, man, how long ago be till one of them swears? It's like, first minute was just like done.
Our beautiful filth boys.